What's up, everyone? This is my 2019 MT-07, and today I want to review my bike. I've had it for nearly a year now, close to 11 months. Short answer, I really enjoy it. This bike is not completely stock, so I'm just going to run through the modifications that I have. I have a tail tiny on it. I have LED blinkers, small ones. I have Barracuda grips. And I have a full system Black Widow exhaust, the 200mm one, and I have these bar end mirrors, and I also have this SP Connect phone mount on it. The Barracuda grips and the tail tidy were already on the bike when I bought it, so that is not a modification that I did myself, but from the previous owner. So let's start her up. That Black Widow exhaust sounds rowdy. I fucking love it. It's so good. So I'm just gonna ride around a bit and tell you what I think about the bike. This is my first bike. I bought it a day after I got my license. This is not a full power MT-07. This is actually a restricted version. It has 35 kilowatts of power because in Europe you have the A1, A2, and A license system, and I'm currently on an A2 license, so I can't ride full power bikes yet. So this bike is restricted. It is restricted by throttle. It has a little plate on the throttle that holds back the power, so basically I can only use 60% off my throttle, but it still has more than enough power to do good for itself. So first things first, seating position. The seating position on this bike, obviously being a naked bike, is very comfortable. It's very upright. I am a tall dude. I'm 202 centimeters tall. That's 6 foot and 7 inches in the Freedom units. So I'm a tall dude. My knees are squished in the tank. I don't have a lot of wiggle room, but I do fit relatively comfortable on my bike. So if you're a tall rider, this might not be for you. I can flat foot this bike easy. Like, my knees are way bent. Like, I'm always in a squatting position. So yeah, the seating position is really really comfortable. That being said, it is a naked bike, so you will have a lot of wind. You have no protection from the wind. I guess you could install a little windscreen. I know some people who have done that. They say it doesn't help much. It's more for aesthetics. So yeah, no fairings, a lot of wind, you know. That's just what you get with a naked bike, I guess. The seat is pretty hard, so if you like touring a lot and you do longer rides, I would recommend getting a comfort seat for this bike, since your butt can go a little sore after long rides. Now, the engine of this bike, it's a parallel twin CP2, Yamaha's famous CP2, 689 cc's. It's a great engine, lots of torque down low. I really like it for that. Really fun to ride. Great city commuter. Maybe not the best bike if you're looking for a bike that just rips it out. This has, like, in the top end, it does kind of fall off a little bit. It has a lot of torque down low and in the middle of the rev range. So it's a nice commuting bike in that sense. I've never felt I had a lack of power anywhere. I mean, like, yes, more power would be fun, for sure, but I don't feel like I need more power than this, right? This is plenty of power. This engine makes a fucking rowdy sound. It's really, like, popping exhaust on that bad boy. Like you hear it all the time in the video. It sounds great. It's really loud, which I like. I don't mind it, but with the stock exhaust, it's just kind of quiet, which is why I decided to put a full system on it, which wasn't actually hard at all. I don't have any prior experience with, like, mechanical stuff, but my brother does a little bit, and he just helped me out, and I think I could have done it on my own too if he wasn't there to help me out. So it's pretty easy to install an exhaust on his bike, which is nice. And most of the exhaust systems have like a good guide on how to do it. You just need like a few tools and you're set. Then this bike is pretty lightweight. I think the wet weight for this bike is 182 kilograms. Not quite sure on that. It's something around that range at least. So it's really nimble. You can really just flick it around very easily. Like it is just like it just falls over, which is really nice. This is actually the bike that I had my lessons on when I went for my license. And it's an ideal bike for that. It's just so easy, beginner friendly, because it has enough power, but it's also lightweight. It has a 2-cylinder, so it's like pretty forgiving on the acceleration and stuff. This bike though has a lot of engine braking. My brother always tells me that I rarely use my brakes, and I try to like light up my brake light whenever I ride around. There's cars behind me, so they know I'm braking. But it is true, this bike just has so much engine braking that you don't really have to brake very hard. That being said, the brakes are kind of squishy. I'm not a big fan of the brakes. I haven't ridden on a terrible lot of motorcycles, but the ones that I have ridden had better brakes than this one. The brakes just lack like initial biting. Like it's not like once you get on the brakes, you kind of have to squeeze them through really well to like brake hard. So the brakes could be a little bit better. I'm not saying they're terrible. I'm just saying that they could be better for sure. The suspension is also kind of soft compared to other bikes that I've ridden. Now I don't really mind it, to be honest. A lot of people critique the MT-07 for a lot of people critique the MT-07 for the suspension. Honestly, I don't really mind it too much. Then again, I've not ridden a lot of other motorcycles that had like much better suspension, so I don't really have a lot to compare it to. But I don't mind it. I've never felt that I was wobbly through corners or anything like that. So I don't mind the suspension, but I know it could be a little better. I've done about 7,500 kilometers on this bike so far within a little under a year. I don't know if that's a lot or if that's just average or not a lot, but I feel like I've got some good seat time in this bike. Different styles of riding too, like just commuting like I'm doing now, pretty much just a chill ride. I've done a little bit of sporty riding too, not too much, but a little bit. And I've done some longer tours as well. So I feel like I've gotten a good understanding of this bike. I have not taken it to the track. I don't intend to be honest. So I don't know how it performs on the track. I would guess that it's not ideal for track, seeing as the suspension is a little on the soft side, which I think for track you want it to be a little bit more stiff. So I don't think it will shine on the track, but I mean, I guess you definitely could still do track days on it though, because I know a lot of people that do track days on their 07. So it's definitely possible. It's just not ideal for it, obviously. Another good point about this bike is that it's not very expensive. Here in the Netherlands, it doesn't really drop in price as much. So I bought mine for a little over 8,000 euros, which I know it's still a lot of money, definitely for an 07, but I know that in other countries they are a little bit cheaper. Then again, mine is a 2019, and it only had 14,000 kilometers on it when I bought it, so it wasn't that much, so that's why the price is probably a little bit higher. Overall, I would say I could definitely recommend this bike. Like, I like it. I'm a tall dude, like I said, I feel a little bit cramped sometimes on like longer rides, but nothing too bad, nothing I can't handle, which on some other bikes I have ridden or at least sat on, I did have that feeling. Like the Duke 690 is something that I looked into getting as well, but that too was just like, it felt really cramped, which I didn't like. The Z650 as well, the Kawasaki. Look at the little bike, it's so cool. I felt a little cramped, and even like, because I'm looking to upgrade to an MT-09, and even like the Z900 or a Duke 890, I feel cramped on those bikes, whereas on the MT-07 I don't. I think it's just how the tank is built up, and with the MT-09 as well, I just have a lot of space for my legs, which is really nice. So I'll just do a little bit of a pull here if I can. Let me just check if there's no cops around, so you can see what it's like speed wise. Keep in mind this is restricted, so it's not going to be the fastest, but it still has some nice power. So once I pass that sign, I'll just rip it open a little bit and you can see how it performs. So it's it's not the fastest bike, but it's definitely not slow. So I enjoy it. I got used to that really quickly though, I must say. If you're looking for a fast bike, a restricted MT-07 is not what you want, but I feel like it's a good beginner's bike. It's forgiving enough for beginners, but it also is not fully kitted out with like electronics. Because the only thing this thing has is ABS. It has no rider modes or all of that jazz, you know. It just has ABS, so it's a pretty basic bike, which I think is good for beginners because it allows you to make mistakes slightly and learn from them, but you have a lot of wiggle room with this. So you can make a little mistake, but the bike doesn't have enough power to make the mistake really drastic, you know. And this bike is really easy to wheelie. Now I can't wheelie at all. Like, I'm very bad at wheeling. I'm still learning. I'm wanting to learn, especially since I'm gonna upgrade to the MT-09, which has a lot of power, and you know, the front wheel is gonna come up on me sometime, so I just want to be able to wheelie a little bit at least, so I don't panic when it happens. This bike has wheelie, not with me on it, but my brother has done some sick wheelies on this, so I know it can wheelie. I'm still learning. My brother says it is really easy to wheelie this thing. I'm just a little bit scared still of the feeling. I just want to take it easy, and I'll get there eventually, you know. I don't know what else there is to say about this bike. It's just a great all-round bike, I think. Like, you can just do some commuting with it easily. It's good for city riding. You can do some sporty riding with it. And this one's restricted, and even then it's great for all of these things. So if it's unrestricted, then you know it's going to be even better for like sporty riding and stuff, which is obviously very good, and that's what you want. This is a very good all-round bike. You can't go wrong with this thing, I feel like, which is what I do really enjoy about it. I can just cruise around, chill, or I can just rip it open and have some fun with it. You're not going to outrun the police on this thing, which I don't recommend trying anyway. But if that is your style, don't get this one, because this one's too slow for that. This bike is used a lot in stunting though, so if you're a stunter, get a crash cage and, you know, rip this thing. I see a lot of stunters that have like different handlebars. They're like wider and more up high handlebars, so you can get it up easier. So if you're into stunting, then yeah, definitely take a look at this. Maybe a 600, like a 636. That my brother has one of those. It's apparently also good for stunting, but this you can just stunt stock, whereas a Super Sport ZX6R 636, you're gonna want to, you know, modify that. But then again, if you're gonna go fully stunting, you might want to modify it anyway.
I'll just give you a little bit of sound under this bridge real quick, and then I'm just gonna end it here because I don't know. Because then I don't know what else to say. These people are not happy with me. Sorry, but it's too addicting. It's too addicting. I love the sound of this motorcycle, dude. When I'm gonna sell it, I'm definitely gonna miss that sound a lot. But yeah, that was my thoughts on the MT-07. Yeah, I would definitely recommend everyone getting this bike, especially if you're a beginner. It's very forgiving, but it also allows you to make a little mistakes because it doesn't just hold your hand with a bunch of electronics. It sounds great. It looks great in my opinion. It is not that expensive. So yeah, if you want to get a bike, MT-07 might just be your thing. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.